from outside?
No,
Okay, good,
we're
good.
live. We
Okay.
are live. Hello, everyone. This is Kathy Hampton on a Sunday, a live stream on a Sunday afternoon. It is 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is 5 o'clock Eastern, no, PT time,
Yes.
Portugal time, where Bridget Jones is today. Today is a great day for me to talk with someone I've been following for a while, who's provided inspiration to me in my next steps, and she's done so with grace by telling her story and being the light for me as well as other people who are interested in either relocating or moving or doing something with their lives other than what they are doing. So, first of all, let me introduce myself. If this is the first time you are seeing me or this video or this channel, my name is Kathy Hampton, and am the founder of Wellside Retreats. Wellside Retreats is a transformational destination retreat and life coaching service. I help Black women primarily move away from what no longer serves them and move them to a place of holistic wellness of body, mind, and spirit. And I also provide coaching for anyone who's feeling stuck, not knowing where to go, how to get there, need a resource. I do that as well. And I'm here to tell you that today, relocation is retreating, is moving away from what is no longer serving you. If you want to relocate, move somewhere else, you are not planted or rooted, you can pick yourself up and go. And Bridget Jones is my special guest today who will tell you all about it and more and
Yes.
more. So, first of all, I want to share with you how I found Bridget, and then I want Bridget to introduce herself. I um, I have been following various Facebook groups, travel groups, relocation groups, and the groups that I've been looking at primarily have either been Mexico or Portugal. Portugal was of interest to me after my 3 month sabbatical, where I spent time in Sintra, Lisbon, and Porto, and some other small towns or noted towns all throughout Portugal. I decided to relocate to Portugal, almost there. And so I looked at the Facebook groups and I saw this woman talk about how she had to try to find a place to live. She was looking for, I believe she was started in Lisbon, but then was
Mhm.
headed to Porto. And she was telling the story. But she also said, and if you want to follow me on my Facebook group, she gave the name of the group, and I'll share that with you. It's Bridget Jones Reimagined. And
Mhm.
I was like, whoa, what a name. I said, I heard that name before. I said, but I don't know this person. Bridget Jones Reimagined. And the Reimagined stuck with me. And so I went over and joined her Facebook group and have been following her ever since. And that was probably about a year and a half ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
almost
yeah,
almost
yeah.
2
It
years
has
ago.
been.
Almost 2 years that I've been following her and chiming in and calling on her and asking questions, and also cheering her on because I'm like seeing this light and I'm like, whoa, she is doing all of it. And I'm so happy to have you, Bridget.
Oh,
I really am. You just don't know. I'm just so happy to have you here to speak with
oh,
people
thank
I know.
you.
So tell us about you. Tell us about
Ah,
introduce yourself.
oh, well, first of all, thank you so much for allowing me in this space to be comfortable. I'm not in Porto from, for those that know that I live in the Porto. I'm still in Lisbon. This is my rest day before I go back home to Porto. So thank you for just allowing me just to get comfortable and have what I feel like is like a fireside chat with you. So I am Bridget Jones. And like Kathy said, I do have a Facebook group, Bridget Jones Reimagined, and then I'll tell more about the business that I started here in Portugal. But at my base, I'm just a Southern girl from Alabama, uh, that uh, that just dare to believe that every life obstacle that came my way, that I could overcome it. I could reimagine a better life for myself. I did not have to settle. That I could start my life over at the age of 42, divorced with $42 to my name. That I could do it and not be afraid of no longer, as what the world would say, being a quote kept woman. And that was my ex term. Oh, you don't want to be a kept woman anymore. You know what I mean? But being able to trade that in for the life that I knew that I could cultivate and make for myself. That really is the whole Bridget Jones Reimagined. Now, my name is Bridget Jones, and it is my real name, and I'm sure you've probably seen the movie. That's why. So let me tell you how I arrived to this name, because Bridget Jones, the movie, it for me, it is such a funny movie because it shows someone who is quirky. She's herself. She's always having these series of different crazy life experiences. So I wanted, so, and in some ways my life has mirrored that. But I try to bring a dose of that humor in, but also show the other side of how that you can be Bridget Jones, but you can also be Bridget Jones reimagined. That can be part of your story, but there's also a bigger story that you get the chance to create for yourself. So long story short, I was divorced at 42, lived in Alabama most of my life, moved cross country to I took a year off and traveled around Europe. That was the first time that I had came to Portugal in 2018. Had no plans of coming here to move. I really came here to hit it and quit it, as they say. I came here to eat cheap food, drink cheap wine. That's all that I came to Portugal to do. Seriously, Kathy, I was in Spain. I was in Spain, and my best friend ever was like, "Well, you're so
Yeah.
close, so you should go and check out Portugal." Portugal was not on my radar to visit. And so I'm like, okay, well, money kind of getting low into my trip. Let me go over here and just spend some time in Portugal. Came here doing that trip, and I would never forget. It was this older gentleman just saw me out walking around Lisbon, and he walked up to me and he said, Portugal is better experienced as a citizen than being a tourist. And he just walks away. And that statement stood out for me because rarely do you hear someone speak so highly of their city or their country. Most people want to leave where they were born, right? So that was in 2018, and it made me curious as to why is everyone moving to Portugal? What is it about this small country that has this big pool? And that is the $1 million question, I think, for a lot of us still. Like, what is this pool that this country has on us? So that was 2018. 2020 roll around COVID. I was in an accident, and I had that life changing moment of like, okay, you're 2 years away from your goal that by the time that you turn 50, you want to be living in Portugal, or you want to be living abroad in Europe. And so that's how I revisited the idea of Portugal again. And I came the following year in 2021 and started the whole scouting process, and you know, my NIP, and trying to decide if I wanted to live in Lisbon or live in Porto. And Porto was not on my radar, but I took one day trip up to Porto, and it just stole my heart.
Mhm.
Stole my heart, didn't give it back.
Mhm.
I went back home and I tried to break it off with Porto. I made about 2 or 3 more trips before I moved here. And every trip I would try to go up to Porto, be like, nope, this ain't my city. And when I tell you, Porto kept drawing me in like, this is your city. And I told my realtor, I'm like, okay, well, may the best apartment win. Whichever city gives me the best apartment between Lisbon and Porto. That's what I'm going to choose. And Porto delivered on it.
Wow.
So I wanted to share that because I think it's so important. You know, a lot of times people are always asking someone else, where should I live? I want this, I want that. And they maybe rely on someone else to give them some insight on where they should be. I'm a firm believer in letting your city choose you,
Mhm.
because if you let your city choose you, then there's a purpose for you in that city. There are doors waiting to be opened for you in that city. And I didn't know any of that. All I knew is that Porto felt comfortable. It felt at home. It felt like a place where I could really have a life, and my heart was there. That's all that I knew. I had no plans in the back of my mind to start a business or anything. But all of that came as a result of me saying yes to a city that proposed to me in
Right.
some kind of ways.
Yeah.
Porto got on bended knee. Porto got on bended knee
Bended
and asked
knee.
for my hand
That's awesome.
in marriage to that city. And I'm so glad that I said yes.
Yeah.
And it's like that one yes has opened up so many other yeses in my life. And so that's part of why I'm in Porto. And
Okay.
then when I did move here to Porto, I came here and I was employed at the time. I worked for a major health insurance plan. Initially, I wanted to keep my job. I had got to a place where I was making the most money I had ever made in my career.
I love
Living
this story. I
yeah,
love this story.
living comfortably in San Diego. You know, I was like, I went from this dream of like, man, I never told this part. When I moved to California, to move to San Diego, I had maybe like, oh God, I was grossing less than $1,000 a month. I didn't even know how I was making it, but I was not making hardly any money at all. And so for me to take that leap and to move to California, and then for God to increase my numbers, and I'm making six figures, and I'm living comfortably in high price California with a
Yes.
nice savings. But so initially, I was wanting to keep my job. My managers had and my directors had gave me the okay, but it went to HR. HR had to be the final say so because of legal
Hmm.
that they had to so. And I had even took my relocate to Portugal, my consultant. I She gave me all this information to give HR. If they had any questions, she told me to give them her contact information. I came armed with all these solutions to show them that this could really work. So I have my meeting with HR, and the guy, we're on a call, and he's like, well, he said, usually when things come to me, he said that this is where dreams come to die. He said, usually when it comes to me, this is where dreams come to die. And I know, you really want to move to Portugal, but I'm here to tell you right now that we won't be able to approve for you to work from over there. And I'm so sorry to be the bearer of bad news. And I know that's not the news that you want to hear. And so you probably won't be able to move to Portugal. So so anyway, he just wanted this whole thing about this is where dreams come to die. And girl,
That hit you, huh?
that day I had time. That day I wasn't looking at you as my superior HR, and I'm like, sir, in all due respect, I said the dream will not die. I will be moving to Portugal, whether or not I'm working for or not. And then his next statement after that was, well, I always wanted to live in Mexico. And it dawned on me in that moment, I'm like, he's had some dreams deferred. And in some kind of way, he feels like that because his dreams died in some kind of way, he felt in some kind of way that he's going to be the gatekeeper to killing other people's dreams. And so, so it went from that, and then we end up revisiting this issue again closer to the time when I had took a leave of absence from my job without pay, came to Porto, set my apartment up, came back to the States because I wanted to stay employed long enough to get my bonus. I can say it now. I'm like, I can speak my truth now because I don't work there no more. But I held on. I held on to be employed long enough to collect both of my bonuses and my raise. I came back from Portugal in February, and then we had our meeting again in March. And they asked me. They said so. They had reiterated again. This time with everybody on the line, my managers, directors, and HR, the same guy. He said, "Well, we've already had this conversation, and but that this is what we're going to do." And he asked me. He said, "So what are you going to do?" And I just firmly said that it's time for me to go home, and I will be putting in my 2 week notice. And so so literally my last day was May the 5th, was my last day on my job. May the 7th, I was on the plane coming to Porto with
Wow.
everything I own, making
Wow.
this trip here. Now, when
Wow.
I got here, that's when the reality set in, and I'm like, "What the hell did you just do?"
I remember, I think I remember that because you you
It's
you
real.
were, yeah, it's a shock. It's a shock. I can only imagine that because of other life events where it was a shock, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and you're like, you pinching yourself like, this is this real? And what am I gonna do here?
Yes. And
Yeah,
so that was the thing because I knew two things. I knew when I divorced,
yep,
my ex and him being the main breadwinner at the time,
yep.
I knew the responsibility of financially taking care of myself was going to squarely fall on my shoulders from henceforth onward.
Oh,
And then I also knew when I left this job, the financial responsibility of taking
that's
care
right.
of me is going to fall squarely on my shoulders again. So sometimes we have been somewhere before. So I knew I had been here before, and I knew God
Yes.
in the universe has always came through for me. So, but
Yes.
you do have those moments of like, what did you just do? Because I'm like, you just shot both of yourself in the feet. I mean, you shot pow pow. You just have shot yourself in both feet. You ain't even 50. You 12 years from retirement. You can't even draw Social Security for 12 more years. You're gonna have to take care of yourself for 12, well, for the for the foreseeable future. I had gave up my whole safety net of being with a job and getting retirement and all of this. I had gave that up.
Yeah.
So I did grapple with that a little bit, but that was such a freedom because I was over here, and I still had another job as a medical transcriptionist. I held on to that job as my side job, and this is where the story takes on a bigger twist. Because I held on to that job through September, and my family was coming to visit,
So May
and
through September. May
yeah,
through
May through
September.
September, I,
Okay.
I, I, even though I was not working for my major insurance company, I still had this side. I had this independent contractor job, working
Okay.
as a medical transcriptionist, and I get and so September, I felt that nudge. I'm like, okay, because it was my dream to host this Thanksgiving dinner. I had posted it in this group called Americans and Friends in Portugal back in 2021 when I had made my first scout trip to Portugal. I put this lofty dream out there how that I wanted this big gathering table where we all can get together and share a meal. And I posted this in this group, and everybody talking about, oh, I would love to come to it. So in September, I'm like, you know what? Thanksgiving around the corner. I really want to make that dream come true, like hosting this Thanksgiving dinner to bring everybody together around the table. So that's when I introduced the concept of Southern Gal in Portugal. I wanted the words to rhyme. And I just put it out in the atmosphere that I'm hosting this Thanksgiving dinner. And I only wanted to do it for 24 people. I put that out there in the universe. And this was on a Monday. Uh, Tuesday, I got an email from my job saying that my contract, that they were not going to be renewing my contract. I lost my contract the very next day. When I put this out in the universe that I was starting Southern Gal in Portugal and I'm hosting this Thanksgiving event, the very next day I lost my contract, and then the following day was when I was set to go and tour this venue where I was going to host the event at.
Oh my
So
goodness.
in that moment I knew that the universe, that God was just pushing me out, because this was something that I know I did not want to keep making cooking. I didn't want for it to no longer be a hobby. I used to have a personal chef business years ago, and I didn't want to get stuck and just make it in my hobby instead of believing that God could finance my whole lifestyle doing this. So I put that out there, and when I tell you, Kathy, the event went from 24 to 50 people. It sold out in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Everyone prepaid their tickets,
I
and it
even
was a
bought a plate. I even
you
bought a
sure
plate.
did,
I
and I
sure
can't
did.
wait for you to come so I can hook your whole. You
Give me
coming
my
to
plate.
me? Yes. Listen, I already got something special for you. But yes, but yeah, but all of that happened. It was almost like the universe just kept reassuring through action as to say, "I got you, I got you," and so that really literally I had that Thanksgiving event. I lost my grandmother in the process of this because she was the one that taught me how to cook. So Southern Gal and Portugal in some ways was a homage to her. And literally 5 days before my event, she ended up passing away.
Wow.
And it was like I had to deal with, and I wanted to share that because you are never going to do anything big in life where something calamitous might end up happening. Don't be surprised when something when you might be at the highest point of you achieving something, or and then on the other hand you have something that is catastrophic, or a loss. You
Yeah.
always every success is always balanced with a loss, and
Yes.
that was the loss, the major loss that I experienced before this event. I mean, so much to the point where, girl, I mean, some days I found it hard to get out of bed. I was supposed
Wow.
to cook that week. I lost 2 days where I just could not get out the bed because I was just so overcome with grief. And I'm like, I can't call this off. I got 50 people waiting on me for Thanksgiving. And I'll never forget one day I was in the bed and my grandmother had this saying. She would always get up early and cook dinner or breakfast early. She would always say, I can't lay in the bed all day long when I got food to put on.
Wow.
And I heard that one day, girl, I got about that bed. I went in there and started grocery shopping, started getting everything. I mean, it's like I stayed up 24 hours, like literally
Wow.
just making sure I was able to cook everything, get everything done in 3 days. Because I just had this new burst of energy with that she was fueling me. So long story short, the Thanksgiving dinner was a huge success. I got a long wait list of people wanting to come from all over Portugal for the event this year. And that one event really really established me in Porto. People know my name. I was able to do Thanksgiving orders, turned around and did Christmas orders. I did a couple of catering events. In that short span of time, it's like this business took off from just a lofty concept of wanting to just host a dinner and feed people to this thing that I'm able to walk in fully and really and financially support myself, and also dream big
Yes.
and use food as the connector.
Yes.
And that's the beautiful thing about this that I really want to convey. I was hearing your story before we started all of this.
Yeah.
Is it that there is room for you in whatever that your particular niche is? There is room for you, but it didn't really happen to me until I was willing to lay it all on the line
Yeah.
and to really walk 100% fully in what God was telling me to do. Not this little halfway where I'm gonna do a little bit and post some meals. No, girl, listen, you ain't got no job.
You gotta.
You better put a price tag on this. And then was there like, girl, you better stop playing. You better come up with some cooking classes. You better start cooking some meals.
So yeah,
Seriously.
what came out of all of that I will tell you that I've been telling people. I said there's this woman named Bridget Jones. You know what Bridget Jones is doing now? You know what Bridget Jones is doing now,
Well,
and it
listen,
is you are fully in effect. I mean,
I'm fully
if
in
you go
effect.
fully in effect, if you go to Southern Gal in Portugal on your Instagram page, it looks like um, Bon Appetit magazine. She's showing the food. It looks so good. She's
Oh,
talking about food. She's talking about how you make it. I was like, I'd never heard of that process before. and it
Mhm.
and it and it is it I have cookbooks because my mother is a really good cook, but I collect cookbooks. And I went through my cookbook. I forget what's her name. A black, very. I think her name is Virginia. I forget her last name, but she does classic Southern cooking.
Mhm.
And I was like, she didn't say nothing about that. And I never heard of biscuits called what
Crackhead.
canyons. I
Mhm.
never, and I'm like, this is some good stuff.
Oh yeah,
This is
yeah.
some good food. And I'm like, God, I can't even be there to eat it. But I will be.
You
I
will
will
be
be. But
soon.
yeah, it's every step that you have taken. And I'm gonna say it looks it looks like it's seamless and easy because you tell your story so well, and the steps that you've taken to get where you want to be are just so gracious
Thank
and
you.
so thoughtful, and
Yeah.
um and it is needed for people to see. It's needed for me to see because I'm like, okay, I am at retirement age, but I still want to do some things. I want to do
Right.
some things that I haven't been able to do, and a lot of the things that I want to do out in the air, dreams, things are being put in place in front of me. And I just sit here and I let it happen. But I have to
Mm.
take the steps. I'm
Yes.
taking the steps to make
Yeah.
it all come to be.
And I think because I was actually thinking one day like what is the where is the delay? Where do people where do they stumble in this process? And I think sometimes that we want to we spend a lot of time in how we're going to deliver or package something instead of just showing up and just
Yeah.
being real and in the moment. Because well, I had someone ask me, they said, who does your branding? Who is how do you get your post? I'm like, literally, and this is no lie. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I hope I can say that word. I
Yeah.
don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't have a content creator. I don't have no one that's taught me branding. In whatever moment I do whatever I feel in that moment. uh if I want to post something, I will go ahead and post. I only do actions that feel inspired. If I don't feel inspired, I won't say anything. I won't post anything. But if I feel inspired to say something, and it could be if I'm educating something or I'm sharing something, I want to impart a little bit of humor because I do like to have the humor along with the food as well. But I don't have a plan, and it's like a good example of what I'm talking about. I had made this pot of chicken noodle soup this day. Had put it out there. The soup did not sell. I was getting ready to package up this soup to put in the freezer, which is about like 4 quarts of soup. So I had showed the soup the prior day in the pot, and then I had these 4 packages of soup in this little uh, food saver bags to put in the freezer. And as I was getting ready to put everything together, I thought about my grandmother, and I was like, man, and I could create this post about my grandmother and cooking, and then I was showing the soup or whatever. I forgot what everything that I said, but literally within 2 minutes, this lady messaged me and said, I have a friend in the hospital. Don't freeze the soup. I want to buy all 4 bags. She said, I want to buy the whole pot of soup. And oh, by the way, because earlier that day I had posted cornbread. I had made cornbread and
Right.
showed them
Right.
how
Right.
to
Right.
make
Right.
it.
Right.
And I had posted the thing of cornbread. So literally, it was like 8 o'clock at night. She's like, I'm coming to get the soup. I'll be there in 30 minutes. Oh, by the way, can you make me some cornbread too? So literally 8 o'clock at night, I end up selling this soup and cornbread for 64 euros. You see what I'm saying? Like literally all because and all I did was just share this. I just felt inspired to just share this story about my grandmother, about how they whenever she would make something for the freezer, she would told it as like it was very important work. Like her
Yes.
handling her food that she had spent all day laboring on. For her, the way that she would handle that food, she knew what she had
Yes.
was valuable. You understand?
Yes.
And she would tiptoe
Yes.
and put in there. And I found myself that day. I just spent hours on this soup, and I found myself packaging it. I found myself tiptoeing, getting ready to put it in the freezer. And the universe said, "Nope, you ain't gonna freeze it." Somebody has
That's,
need for that, and I
that's
share that
amazing.
to say somebody always has need for what you have to offer.
Offer. That's right.
Somebody
Absolutely.
always has need
Absolutely.
for what you have to offer. You just
I
have to put it out there to your
that's right.
imaginary audience. Because in
That's
my
right.
mind, I don't know who I'm talking to. You just my imaginary best friend, and I'm just having a funny conversation with you. But whoever it was meant for, it's meant
Yes.
for that person. That day,
Yes.
it was meant for her friend in the hospital and for her family. You see
Well,
what I'm saying?
yeah, and one there was someone who put a post in, I think in your group, in the Facebook group, about their child or someone um not being able to have breakfast sausage or
Mm-hmm.
something, and
Mm-hmm.
and wanting to know if you knew how to make
Mm-hmm.
and what did you do?
I
You
made breakfast sausage. Listen, you remember Lenny? My name is Lenny. I am Lenny. Whatever you need, boo, I got it.
you
We
got a
made
coat.
breakfast
You
sausage.
got a coat with all the watches in it.
Listen. I opened that coat up. I got spices. I got tea. I got breakfast. I got biscuits. I got what you want, and I'm free. I'm free to give you what you need. That's the beauty of this. When you're working for yourself and you're free to be creative, you can
Yes,
give people what they
what they
need.
need. That
And
is
I
so
have no
good.
shame, so I like to be funny with it. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm gonna get my hustle on, but it's not gonna look like a hustle. I don't want for it to look like a hustle or feel like a hustle. It's just gonna be me telling the truth. I told them,
Right.
a good example. I'm like, hey, I don't cook for free. Seriously.
No,
I mean,
no.
if you want me, I don't cook for free unless I'm cooking
Right.
for my friends. I
Uh-huh.
said, and so when you buy my food, you are helping this black woman over in Portugal. You feeding a black woman. You keeping her over here in Portugal when you buy my food. I'm
There
just
you
real
go.
about it.
There you go. Absolutely. And I love that, because who wants to cook for free? I mean, when for somebody else other than yourself, for free,
Absolutely.
for
No.
free.
And that's
No.
the thing that you don't have to. And I'm saying, of course, balancing that because I do like to get in the kitchen with people. But I want to be clear from the jump. I always want to be benevolent in what I'm doing, but I don't ever want to get to the place where I feel like I have to do everything for free.
Yes.
You
Yes.
understand what I'm saying? If
Yes.
God bless you with something, if He bless you with a talent, He wants to multiply that and
That's
He
right.
wants to turn that into money,
Yes.
not likes. He's
That's
not
right.
want to turn it into likes and shares. He's want to turn it into something that you can turn around and bless the world with. I
Thank you.
can't bless the world with with nothing.
That's right.
I have to be able to turn around and to sow into the endeavors that I want to, and money is all, and money is currency, and
Yeah.
we have to make sure that we're comfortable putting a price tag on whatever that we are doing and not looking at it as if we're taking something, but there's an exchange,
Yeah,
there's a commodity.
that's right. I believe in the law of circulation. I really
Yes,
do. And I believe that everyone has something within them. I call it the abundance box. Something
yes,
abundantly it's given to all of us. We just have to tap into it. And
absolutely.
thank goodness you had a woman who loved you so much, and she instilled that abundance in you, that you were like, oh, this is no big deal. I know what to do. I'm going to pull this out and I'm going to use it, because
Hmm.
it's something that you love. I can tell that you love to prepare these meals,
I
this
do. I
food.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
And they're beautiful. It looked like some food magazine when you go to to your Instagram
I
page.
appreciate that. I appreciate that.
You spent the
And it's so
time to it.
natural because I'm only doing what I would naturally do for myself, but I'm also leaving room for somebody else. And that was
Yes.
what my grandmother did. She of course primarily cooked for herself and for her children, but she always had a little bit for
Yeah.
somebody else. And so even when I'm cooking, a lot of times when you see me posting food, it's sometimes I'm cooking for someone, but sometimes I'm actually cooking for myself. But I'm
Okay.
always cooking extra just in case
Okay.
somebody see that
Okay.
post and be like, "Oh, I want some of that." You see
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I talk about, doing what comes natural and not feeling like that we have to go above and beyond. Just find what you do and do it so natural where it's just a natural evolution of what you're already doing. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel like work.
That's right. Doesn't mean, yeah, you don't have to create it. You don't have to, when I say that, the thing itself is being created, but you don't have to force it. You don't have to force
Right.
it. It just comes to you, and it's natural. And that's what I've been experiencing lately, is this natural, these natural things being put in front of me, and I'm running with it, and can run to Portugal and feel really good about doing it. And so
Absolutely.
I really am. Now, we there are a lot of a lot of things that we hear going on in Portugal about the taxation issues, and gives people pause. The requirements to get into the country are changing, but that's everywhere, including Mexico, which was considered, I consider my plan B. but
Hmm.
but all of this stuff, I think, happens for, of course, for reasons, but more specifically, personally, you have to pause and ask the big question: why? Why?
Right.
Why is this happening for me, or around this time, and what does that mean for me? And I don't think that it always means that it's a bad thing, that it's a negative thing. It may be telling you, setting you up to do something else that's going to be best for you. And so
Hmm.
that's how I'm seeing all of this, this whole relocation, as a form of retreating, because whatever is for me will be for me, and I just
Yeah.
have to move and be flexible with it.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
get my
Yeah.
head wrapped around the negative things, because so much goodness has already happened for me, and
Absolutely.
those are the signs. Those are
And
the,
I honestly think a lot of the changes that have recently happened, if anything, it has definitely made people question their why. It has definitely weeded out the ones that may have that were just moving for my financial reasons versus the ones that really wanted to be here.
yeah,
And so I think, and it was good. I think for me, being here right on the cups of all of that happening, and thankfully I was able to get in, to get
hmm,
everything squared away on my end before all this changed. But it definitely was a period where it made me reevaluate my why. And at the end of the day, this country has given me so much, uh, to whatever it needs from me to be sustainable. I have to be willing to give that. I
hmm,
have to be okay with giving that.
hmm,
It's not just a Portuguese problem anymore. I am, I want to be a citizen of this country.
hmm,
Uh, I live here now. This is my quote home country, and so
hmm.
everything that comes with that, you know what I mean. And of course, it's
Yes,
easy for me to say because I don't have millions in the bank.
right,
I don't
right.
have millions in the bank where they tapping half of it. So if I had a little bit more money, I probably would be singing a different tune.
That's right. You make more money, they get more money.
Make more money. Exactly,
Right,
exactly.
right.
But I would hope to think like, uh, I'm just a person that believes a person can live in the overflow,
In
and I always want to live in the overflow. I
the
want to have
overflow.
enough. I want to have enough where I'm able to live off of the overflow, and then God just takes care of the rest. So,
Yeah.
and that's what He has done. He's been so faithful, and I really want to just say for anybody who might be on the fence about moving abroad, because sometimes we think God is just with us when we are on our own soil. But when I tell you God is everywhere, the same God that was with me in Huntsville, Alabama, He's with me over here in Porto.
That's
Same
right.
God that was with me in San Diego. He's not, God is not confined to a geography. He ain't just in the United States, and then when you decide to leave, He'd be like, okay, bye. Or you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean,
That's
but
right.
He's with, yeah, He
That's
everywhere your feet settle,
that's
He's
right.
right there with you.
That's right. That's
So I hope
right.
that there's an encouragement for someone to feel like that they are not, that they don't have a constant companion with them that's helping to lead and guide them. And I've found that to be true for myself in every decision that I've had to make, whether it be personal, professional, even with this business.
Yeah.
I have had to rely on God and the universe and really processing and thinking things through. And at the end of the day, saying, God, I don't want to be nowhere that you are not. I don't want
Yeah.
to I don't want to form partnerships or collaboration. I don't want to do anything where I don't see your hand in it. Because
Yes.
I've seen His hand in everything that I've done, from my apartment, everything that He's done. Whenever I can't sense His presence or I don't see His hand, it's time to
Mhm.
pause.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
time. It's time
Yeah.
to take a pause. It's time to take a
Yeah.
hard break, and
Yeah.
really, okay, God. So where are you? So let's unpack this. So what's
Mhm.
going on here? Why is this not connecting? And the
Yes.
answer always comes.
Comes. It always comes. Yeah. I get really quiet when I'm trying to
Absolutely.
figure things out. Real
Hmm.
quiet and don't do too much. I just sit and wait to hear. I listen,
Hmm.
for whatever will come my way. I really believe that. So there are some people who are have comments.
Okay.
Bridget, let's see if there are any questions. If you have a question for Bridget, please put it in the chat. Let's see. I want to say hello to everyone first of all. And Maya Spikes. Okay, good to see you, Maya. Yeah. And glass half full. Good to see you. Okay, yeah, this is good. Maisha says,
Yes,
"Let your city choose you." Absolutely,
absolutely.
yes. I believe that. I believe people asked me when I came back from, even while I was there, why Porto? I said it's just a feeling, and I couldn't. I felt it felt kind of like woo woo, like but no, it was a feeling. It was the people that I met, the place where I stayed at this guest house. They were the kindest of people. They were concerned about me.
Hmm.
Meaning
Hmm.
they thought of me. They were very thoughtful about me.
Right.
They I felt very comfortable in a smaller setting than Lisbon. I felt good in Lisbon. I love Lisbon, but it was just something about Porto that made me feel good. Where I would frequent a cafe that was not too far from the guest house. I became like a regular. They were concerned. Why didn't you come last night for the music? We had music and you didn't come. It was like, oh, I was supposed to be there. um,
Yes.
you know, and these were the local people. And then when I did meet some tourists who were, people I met virtually or expats, um, it was like, wow, this feels good to meet up with
Hmm.
you. So
Hmm.
um, I had a really good experience. So I believed that Porto chose me also.
I'm so glad it did.
I am too. I am too.
I'm
Be-
so glad you moved.
because, well, I'm glad because what really sold me, besides my me saying, "Oh, I'm going to Porto," when you formed a community, and that is so important. It's like people
Mhm.
come together And I see all the people. When I saw the photograph, I wish I could show that photograph of you on that Thanksgiving dinner where all these people in
Yeah,
this hall, and they were
yeah,
full. And I was
yeah,
like, she put all that together. But they're
yeah,
people who came from near and far, all throughout
yes,
Portugal, not
absolutely.
just Porto.
And all of that happened. I still have to go back to this. All of that happened is because I'm where I'm supposed to be. Uh, and it's hard to put into words. I think whenever you are where you are destined to or ordained to be,
Yeah.
uh, the you have less of a struggle trying to make things happen. It's like literally when you are where you are when you are in the city or where you're supposed to be, it's like the universe gives you the keys to the city.
Hmm.
And
Right.
your key might unlock different things for you.
Yes.
Your key
Yes.
might open different doors. It might put you in different rooms. But
That's
when
right.
you are where you're supposed to be, you have a key to that city. And when you turn that lock, you will be dazzled by whatever is behind those doors and the people and all of that. So I have to go back to I know without a shadow of a doubt that's a big that has been a big factor in why I've had the connection that I've had, why I've been successful, why I've been able to form really good, strong friendships and connections in Porto. It all goes back to that's where I was meant to be. And
Yes.
those were the people that I was meant to touch.
Meant to.
And
That's
these
right.
were the friends that I was meant to have. And these were the real sisters that
Yes.
I was meant to have in my life. All of that.
Yes, yes. And
All of that.
I've been kikiing up with your friends, with your sisters about how we gonna how they taking up all your time for cooking and eating and how they need to save me some.
I know
So
you're talking about. I know you're talking about.
yeah.
But when I tell you the banter that we go back and forth on Facebook and I can still when I tell you it is a true replication of what happens in real life. It is so beautiful to be on the other half of the world. I mean, to be on the other side of the world and to have more richer, deeper experiences, more
Yes.
deeper and richer sisterhoods. You
Yes.
understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
There's no
Yes.
family drama. There's no
Yes.
family drama that we eat. I mean, that's it's like that you are able to really be there for people and to really make true connections because you want to.
Right.
You
Right.
understand?
Yes.
And you
Yes.
don't take anyone for granted because we are
Granted.
all that we got.
That's right. You can't use anybody up. Nope.
Can you listen?
You can't
Seriously.
do it.
So
No.
it's so beautiful, and I can't wait for you to get here. You're the last one that we're waiting on.
Well,
That
I'm
I know
glad.
that's moving this way. That I know that's moving this way. You are the last person that I know in the group that
Yeah.
last year that we were waiting on. So that's why I say
Yeah.
I'm sure that it's going to be anyone that comes after you. Of course, we want everyone to come
Everyone to come.
and pick
Yeah.
Porto. Pick Porto if Porto picks you.
That's
Uh,
right. That's
yeah,
right. Absolutely.
yeah,
Because there are people who may not find it appealing or pleasing to them.
absolutely.
It just spoke to me. I felt good there all the
Hmm.
time. I don't. It was a
Hmm.
feeling. So glass half full has a statement she made, an extension of
Uh-huh.
what you're already doing. Now,
Yes.
can you tell besides just cooking and not just but cooking for and making meals and catering and you have something else getting ready to you're going to start teaching, right? Teaching.
Yes.
Can you
Yes.
talk a
So
little bit about
I
that?
can. I can. So I wear two hats. So Bridget Jones Reimagined was a group that I had created on Facebook, over 300 something women. And it really was an incubator for us to reimagine, reinvent, restart, rebuild, for us to get our second winds and to recreate our lives the way that we want to, right? And so from that was birthed Southern Gal in Portugal. And I'm started off with the Thanksgiving event. I do personal chef, so I do cook meals and for clients. But next Sunday, I'm actually going to be starting a cooking class. I want to be able to teach. I want to teach people how to fish. I want to teach people how to do Southern cooking on their own. So I'm starting up this next Sunday.
Oh,
My goal this year is to really find a way to automate what I'm doing. One friend said it best. She like that you are 50 years old. You cannot expect that you're going to be cooking up until you're 70. You have to find a way to be able to repackage what you are doing where you are not just the one that's the face of it, and you're not always the one that's cooking and just doing,
right,
being the doer.
right.
And that stuck with me. So this year, but going back to what I said, doing what natural, whatever comes natural for me to get into that evolution to make that happen. I want to have a presence for that, but I also want to have a face-to-face presence too, and being able to teach more cooking classes and workshops, virtually and in person. That's my
Okay.
goal. And I want to release my cookbook this year. I really
I
want
was
to
gonna
release
say, I was gonna
I really
say,
want to release a cookbook this
yes,
year.
you
Absolutely.
must, you must.
Absolutely.
It's already, yeah. I was wondering if you were planning on that.
Absolutely I am.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
So
And
we
that
do.
is why I have not shared a lot of my recipes.
Okay,
Because I have
good,
people that have asked about them, but I'm like, I really want to do it right, and I want to share it all once I get my cookbook.
good. I'm glad you're gonna do that.
Hmm.
Let's see. We had H and D abroad. She wants to know what drew you to Porto. And D, I'm going to share with you that Porto chose her. Porto, she was Portugal and Porto were competing, and Porto chose no Lisbon. I'm sorry, Lisbon and
Wisdom.
Porto
Hmm.
were
Hmm.
competing, and
Yeah.
Porto won out. Porto
Yeah.
actually was on bended knee, as she said earlier, and she married Porto. Um,
But what really drew me, if I had to just simplify that statement, and what really drew me, I am a huge foodie, the food and the
okay,
wine.
okay,
If you are into food and wine, and it's a beautiful city, and so, but it is because it's a big food and wine scene there. That was the biggest thing that really drew me to Porto, and
okay.
how comfortable and how lovely the people are.
Yeah, yeah, very, very good. And so, when I was asked about food when I went to Portugal, I I because I'm not a foodie like you. I like good food, but what I tasted was fresh, and that's what I kept on
Hmm.
telling people. The flavor is fresh, and that
Yes.
means that you get the taste of the food, not necessarily a spice or a signature
Right.
spice. And I couldn't put my finger on it. And I said they put egg on top of everything,
Yeah, they do.
right?
Oh, have you had that dessert that had the egg in it?
Uh-uh.
Let's just say someone that gave me this dessert, and I thought it was like an meringue with this little lemon custard.
Uh-huh.
Because girl, I bit into that, and the inside, that little orange part was yolk. And when
Oh
I tell you,
no.
when I tell you, it's like that my mouth got lip. It was awful. Well, let me not say, I need to be careful. I don't want someone that's Portuguese to hear me say that their food is awful. I'm not a fan of eggy desserts like that.
No.
So for me, that was like, oh, but
Well,
once
the
you
past,
understand the culture of the
yeah.
donatas and why they
Yeah.
make a lot of egg desserts, then you understand why eggs are everywhere.
Yeah, the pastel de nata is king, queen
Hmm.
of the
Now I do
desserts.
like that one.
I do like those, but
Yeah.
I had a fresh steak, meaning they didn't put too
Hmm.
much seasoning on it. I
Hmm.
had with the egg on top. It was good. It was good
Hmm.
food. My favorite food that I believe is really um, Brazilian inspired is bacalhau.
Hmm.
And they make different ways. So I would eat that almost every other day if I ran into it at a
Yep.
restaurant.
Yep. That's
So
true.
I can't wait to try more food places because I love to dine. I love to go out to eat, and it could be mom and pop, but I love the fish. The fish was always fresh. And
Mhm.
that's what I ate a
I
lot of.
love it. I
And
love it.
sausages. I did eat their
Oh
sausage.
yeah. Pork is king here.
Pork.
Pork
Okay.
is really king here.
Okay.
And seafood.
All right. And seafood. Okay. Here's another question. Glass half full. Would you consider cooking, taking on weekly scheduled meals for customers?
Yes, I'm
Mhm.
actually, yes, that is one of the things that I'm launching in February, doing
Okay.
meal planning for people.
All right.
That's one of the things that that is my favorite thing to do for myself. And so I definitely want to offer that on a larger scale to clients where I do their meal planning for their family.
Uh-huh.
They give
Uh-huh.
me their budget and I go and prepare whatever that their weekly meals are and have it all packaged up ready for them on that Sunday for them to feed them for the whole week.
Yeah. Okay. I like
Absolutely. I
that.
want to
I
do
like
that.
that. I
Hmm.
mean, people do a lot of that here in the States, and I think that's
Hmm.
a easy way to do. Do you think that your clients are local or your clients are expats mostly?
They're definitely, most of my clients are expats.
Okay.
I had a few locals that came to my Thanksgiving event. And I've had a few that have bought food from me.
Okay.
But most of them, I would say the majority of my clientele is expats. And
Okay.
it makes sense because they're familiar with Southern food.
Yeah.
Some of them come from the South, some of them miss everything that you said. The food here is fresh, but it's not really seasoned as
Right.
what we're accustomed to in
Mhm.
soul food dishes. So I
Yes.
think that is a niche. People miss the flavors of the South.
Yes.
So that's why I think has been part of my success too, is that I'm fulfilling a need where the food is fresh, which makes it even better because if you're cooking with fresh ingredients, then it definitely amplifies anything that you do to it. It's going to make it even better.
Better.
So
Sure.
yes.
That's right. Good. Okay. And Katrina Lilly, who is actually in Portugal, she wants to know about her regular dinners, and she's already hungry. Now she's gonna come and find you because she.
Listen, find me, Katrina. Because that's the thing. Sunday dinners, I am starting that up in February. I want to be able to have curated Sunday dinners. It's only going to be 4 people. I want to do it in my home first because I want to replicate what the whole gathering together around the table and we're having a Sunday dinner. Everyone knows what the dinner would be. And we're having dinner and dessert and conversation and we laughing like a lot of us would do in the States, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I really want to recreate that experience. So I am absolutely, Katrina, I hope that you come to one of the Sunday dinners, and I want to make sure I hit tell me on my Facebook page. I want to hear, I'm going to ask this question soon. What if you had to, what would be the perfect Sunday soul food dinner or Sunday dinner? I
Sunday
have a
dinner.
few that I want to be rotating, but I really want to hear from other people. Like, if you were to sit down to a Sunday dinner, what would you want to see on the table?
I love that. That's
Oh
good.
yeah.
All right. All right. That's good. That is good. So yeah, Katrina Lilly, and I met online, and when I was visiting Lisbon, we met in person, and
Ooh.
she's been a great help to me. And she moves, she travels all around. I mean, she's taking cruises. I'm telling you all your
Oh,
business, Katrina.
nice.
But she's and that's why I said she'll find you.
Oh,
She's
finance.
coming for you because she gets
I
on a
would love
train,
it.
a plane, a bus,
I would
anything.
love it. Well,
Yeah.
she
So
sounds like me because I
yeah,
would travel for food.
yeah.
I would travel and have camped out for food.
You camped out for food.
I've camped out for food before.
Wow. You
Girl,
are a
scared the
foodie.
owner. They
You are.
might walk up to their restaurant like, "Who are you? What are you doing?" I'm camped out their restaurant. This was in
That's funny.
this was
Oh,
in
that's funny.
Italy. This was in Siena, Italy. Restaurant I
Okay.
wanted to go to, I had walked this long distance there and they wouldn't open. And I hunted, girl, listen, I'm literally sitting on the sidewalk beside the door, just camped out. And the guy walked up on the door to go and he looked at me like, "What are you doing?" Like, I'm just here for the gnocchi. It was some gnocchi dish, but I camped out for 2 hours
Oh
waiting
my
on them to open that
God.
door. Listen,
Wow.
it was better than that meal was better than a Beyonce ticket. I'm like, listen, listen. I ain't gonna even wait for Beyonce for no 2 hours. But girl, but that meal, food,
Yes, right. That's right.
yeah, I
That's
got
right.
time.
That is so good. That is so good. Well, I want you all to know that Bridget has helped not only me from a distance, but so many other people. And her and if you just need some inspiration or pick me up, you go to her Facebook group. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up again, and it is called Bridget Jones Reimagined.
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
and that word reimagined is really stuck with me when I first uh, I guess saw her, knew of her. And there's lots of inspiration, a lot of good times, a lot of fun times. And as we were talking before, um, you're getting the real deal, the authenticity of
Um,
someone, just like I'm going to say Cat Williams. That's what we were talking about.
listen.
Telling the truth, telling his truth. And that's what we were talking about earlier. But and Bridget is just good fun, um good a good spirit. I really am so glad that I've met her.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I want to share with anyone interested in relocating to Portugal, to go to relocate to Portugal.com. A beautiful woman by the name of Gail Aguiar has been helping me and many other people to get there. And she's very organized, she's very methodical, and she will tell you the truth.
Hmm. Yes,
She
you
will tell
will.
you the truth and tell you how it is to be done for
Hmm.
you, not someone else, but for you. So if you're interested, if you want to do it yourself, you can. But if you need some help, relocate to Portugal is a great place to start. And yeah, I think I got everything. And then visit and see the pretty pictures and the postings on IG, Southern Gal in Portugal. And I actually, you posted something really, really good yesterday. I sent to my son about people being in business and
Oh,
how you
yeah.
have to have a respect for people.
Hmm. Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
because he's very respectful, but you talked about the connection, the relationship that you have to have with people no matter
Yes.
what, and
Yeah.
how important. I sent that to him.
Absolutely. And let me just piggyback on what you're saying. Uh, don't wait and do that when you start a business. You have to start making connections with people now. Whenever anybody that is in your presence, start treating people as if they are your best friends. Start cultivating relationships. You do that before you launch something, because once you make that connection with people and you
Yeah,
get in the habit of doing that, then whatever that you introduce, whenever you introduce what you're doing is more easily received.
yeah,
And I think that is a mistake that some people make. They wait until they get ready to offer something, and then you want to make connections with people. It don't work like that. You
right.
have to you have to have a heart for people. You have to start really building true, authentic connections with people and relationships and rapport and conversations. You have to start doing that
That's
from
right.
day one.
Day one,
From day
absolutely,
one. From day one
absolutely.
that they come into your presence or into your sphere, that's when you start doing it. Whether it's face to face or virtually, you
Yeah,
have to start doing
yeah.
that from day one.
Absolutely. And being in the what they call the heartfelt business of wellness retreats or anything else that has to do with the person, of all elements of that person's body, mind, and spirit, you have to have a good connection and getting to know people. And that yeah, I wanted to share that with my son, who is embarking on something new, and he has to be patient. He has to learn
Mm-hmm.
how to be patient. People respect him, but he's young and he's thinking about hopping over some things to get to the money. There are no shortcuts. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
no shortcuts. No
That's very
shortcuts.
true.
Yeah. So thank you for posting that. And those are the gems that I've heard from you, and really respect how you are talking to people and telling your story with this wisdom. It's really
Appreciate that.
really wonderful. So I have kept you probably over about 5 minutes, but it's been
Yes,
a
sir.
good time.
Thank you so
Good
much for
time.
having me.
Yes. So if you all would do me a favor, if you are watching, do me a favor and subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that when a new video is uploaded, you will get notifications. And you got the notification today, and I'm so glad that you did. I put it out there, and I wanted you to meet Bridget, but I also want you to come back to the channel and spend some more time with me. Tuesday and Thursday next week, we do Journal with Me, and we'll be talking about affirming ourselves again for the week. And thank you for coming in, the virtual community who've come in and sat and listened to our conversation
Thank
and
you.
engaged. Thank you so much. And Bridget, if you just stay right there, I'll get back right with you. But I want to say goodbye. Much love to you. And I'll see you again on the next video. All right. Bye.
Thank you for having me.
Sure.